The Philadelphia Eagles have officially hired former Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Doug Peterson as the franchise's new head coach.
Now that brings us to the next chapter, which states, take action.
For a guy like Doug, but I believe that this was a panic move.
Never, ever allow for fear of the unknown to prevent you from acting. The experience from conquering the unknown can be a powerful tool. Just look at the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2018 Super Bowl champions. Jeffrey Lurie took major action when he fired Chip Kelly. Most people would assume that Jeffrey Lurie, a billionaire, would not have never taken such an emotional risk. Elliot Shore Parks, author of More Than a Game, Life Lessons from Philadelphia Sports Community, had some very negative things to say when he said, firing Chip Kelly is a big mistake by Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles. On the other hand, it's hard to feel the same about Lurie, who has never won a Super Bowl as an NFL owner, or Howie Roseman, who is a year removed from being stripped of his power and certainly isn't thought of as highly in league circles as Kelly. It's hard to imagine Kelly, very successful special head coach in the NFL. It isn't hard to see Lurie, Roseman failing in their attempts to replace Kelly or build a Super Bowl team. Fast forward 2 years and the Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champions. Jeffrey Lurie removed the cancer, Chip Kelly, from his organization by recognizing him as the problem and then creating a plan to correct it, and he was rewarded with the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Often in the past, when I thought about acting, there was always a voice inside my head trying to convince me to remain stuck. So I understand that there is fear and trepidation in taking a step forward. So even before hearing other people's opinions and those closest to us, we have to combat our own fear. So just remember, success rewards preparation. Remember when Jeffrey Lurie said, you got to open your heart to players and everyone if you want to achieve peak performance. You have to get along with everyone you work with and come in contact with. There are a lot of parallels we can draw from the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2018 Super Bowl champions. We witnessed them build a winning team, recreating a better version of themselves each week until they reach their goal. The Eagles persevered through everything to rise from underdogs to top dogs in the 2018 season. We got an opportunity to see firsthand how success rewards preparation. And the Philadelphia Eagles, the 2018 Super Bowl champions, embodied preparation. For most of us to understand preparation in the context of the Philadelphia Eagles, we must go back to 1999 when Doug Peterson was signed to the Philadelphia Eagles as the starting quarterback. But I don't think that it was Doug's purpose to lead the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl in 1999. About 5 games into that year, Doug would pass the baton off to one of the greatest quarterbacks of the Philadelphia Eagles history. Doug Peterson, the Super Bowl winning coach, the coach that defeated Bill Belichick, the hoodie, started out in humbleness, passing the baton off to Donovan McNabb. Peterson groomed McNabb. Most of us would not have connected how 2 of the 3 Super Bowl quarterbacks of the Philadelphia Eagles history would specifically work with Doug Peterson. Therefore, I ask the question, was it Doug's purpose to be our starting quarterback, or was it his purpose to prepare the Philadelphia Eagles starting quarterbacks to win and succeed in the Super Bowl? When we look at Doug Peterson's history, we must take notice of this. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Remember, Doug Peterson's first task was to get Donovan McNabb ready to play in the NFL. Most of us would say Donovan had a successful career. Many of us, if we were fans, would say that Donovan may be a Hall of Famer. But the thing about Donovan McNabb that was so discouraging was how he acted when he was asked a question about Donovan McNabb. About Doug Peterson, who showed him how to be an employee, leading by example on how to be a good NFL quarterback. Now let's fast forward to the day Doug Peterson was hired and the negativity that surrounded him and how people don't have vision for who you are. Some of the people that were your friends, your colleagues, people you invested in helping for them to become the person that they are. I was appalled when I heard this quote from Donovan McNabb. Now as an alumni, I think that I can say for a lot of us, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to recreate the 1999 through 2009 Eagles, or are they trying to relive the past? Or do they want someone to come in and set his own legacy? I want to see the Eagles win, but I don't know if you do that just by bringing guys back who were there. Donovan McNabb said this about the first person who showed him how to be an NFL quarterback. Donovan didn't have faith in Doug. So the Philadelphia Eagles are a team that embodies people who said that they couldn't have it, that they said that they weren't good enough. I still laugh when I think back to Ian O'Connor when he said, you know, Doug Peterson is a bad hire. The trifecta: poor player as a coach, his lack of experience, poor play. ESPN ranked Doug Peterson as the least qualified head coach of all time. The guy didn't even call plays in Kansas City is what they said. He only got the job due to Andy Reid's endorsement. He's not smart enough to ever win. He doesn't run the ball. He doesn't go for it. He goes for it too many times on fourth down. People doubted Doug Peterson from the start, but it was Jeffrey Lurie's vision of how to build a successful team. That's why he hired Doug Peterson, who ESPN ranked as the worst coach ever. But within 2 years, Doug Peterson is successful as the Super Bowl winning coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now let's draw another parallel from Doug. Sometimes your purpose is not manifesting itself in exactly what you're doing. Sometimes your purpose comes out gradually after year after year. Sometimes you're not prepared to do what needs to be done. Doug wasn't prepared in 1999 to lead the Eagles to the Super Bowl. He wasn't prepared to lead Donovan. He wasn't prepared the first time. And he was not prepared, but he tried and he tried again. And he was prepared when he beat the hoodie. So now let's shift to Howie Roseman, who I am a major fan of. The guy who wasn't a football guy, the guy who was banished to the broom closet. But what did Howie do? Howie had resolve. He understood that success loves preparation. He prepared and he studied within that broom closet, learning what it would take to be successful. Then on the day he was given back power as the GM, the first decision that Howie Roseman would make, it was a decision of recognition. He recognized that his strengths, understanding that he needed people to help him reach his goals. So from out of the broom closet, from not being a football guy to a person who just crunches the numbers, Howie can stand up and say he is the architect of the 2018 Philadelphia Eagles. It is his vision, his purpose, and determination that has caused him to pick up free agents like Corey Clemens, who 31 other teams said wasn't good enough to draft. 7 rounds. Corey Clemens looked pretty good to me during the Super Bowl. His stat line read that he had over 100 receiving yards. Howie had the vision to pick Corey Clemens. Howie never allowed others to tell him what he could do or what he was destined to do. According to Chip Kelly, Howie was just a numbers guy. He didn't even want to work with him, banishing Howie to the broom closet. However, as the Eagles became the Super Bowl champions, Howie Roseman reigned supreme. Remember to never allow for anyone else's perception of you to become your reality. Howie Roseman didn't let it happen. And to be honest, it doesn't matter if anyone says that you were not good enough to do it, what you were destined to do. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's start with the winning quarterback. Nick Foles was traded to the St. Louis Rams, they told him he wasn't good enough to start for their team. After throwing 27 touchdowns in a single season and just 2 picks, they told him that he wasn't good enough to start and that he was a backup. Then they told him he couldn't play football anymore, and he almost retired. He almost listened to the negative stinking thinking of all those people who didn't have the faith and the desire needed to succeed. Nick Foles, the MVP of the Super Bowl, is a parallel to anyone who says that you can't have it or you couldn't do it. And when he took to the stand, his press conference, his faith in God protected his vision, allowing him to succeed. 32 NFL teams said that Jason Peterson wasn't good enough. He had to sign as an undrafted free agent tight end, only to persevere and become a future Hall of Fame, one of the greatest left tackles of the Philadelphia Eagles history, a future Hall of Famer. They said that we couldn't have it on the day that Carson Wentz was injured, echoing that the Philadelphia Eagles were dead. For many of us today that are waking up, they said that you can't have it. They said that you weren't good enough. They said that you didn't have the stuff inside of you to be successful. For that kid that's trying to become a better person, who is fighting his own demons, who is listening to the outside noise. Think about this. As I watch Brandon Graham strip the ball from the golden boy, the GOAT, Tom Brady, I want you to remember how Brandon Graham turned perceived failure into success. It was on 2010. It was in 2010 when we drafted Brandon Graham 13 overall. How could the Philadelphia Eagles draft Brandon Graham, a small defensive end with a high motor, when Earl Thomas was still on board? Super Bowl winning champion Earl Thomas. But no longer will Brandon Graham be the person that was passed upon for Earl Thomas. We're going to start talking about Brandon Graham making that play that won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to start talking about how Brandon turned perceived failure into success, or a lot of perceived buses on the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl winning team. They said that they couldn't win. They said that Doug was the worst hire ever. They said that Howie wasn't a football guy. Let's even go back to Jeffrey Lurie, who purchased the Philadelphia Eagles 20 years ago. They said that he couldn't have the Patriots. But how bittersweet is it for him to win his Super Bowl against Robert Kraft, the person who took and purchased the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles may not have 5 Super Bowl rings, but they got passion, will, desire, and determination. Most importantly, they have success, because success rewards preparation.
Incomplete, and the game is over. The game is over. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
There's going to be a parade on Broad Street. Hey, man, if this is a dream, don't wake me up. We're going to have a parade on Broad Street. Hey, raise up the poles. We're going to have a parade.
The Eagles have won the Super Bowl.
Oh, my goodness.
41-33. And Mike, I'm going to give you my MVP, Nick Foles.
No question about it. And finally, the third time is truly a charm. We are bringing back the Lombardi Trophy to Philadelphia.
The greatest fans in the world have their Super Bowl.